Shalom, Akim, Shalom.
Shalom.
Kahalo, Yahweh,
Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, B'Kakodash.
This is the brother Ariala.
Brother Bakwasha.
Brother Yakov.
We coming back again with another lesson, and on this lesson we want to talk about the age and times of men, how we're in a time of weak men, and how it's leading to the downfall of the society. And I want to open up with this clip by Glenn Beck. He ends up making a quote by, I believe the person was Michael Hoffman or something like that. I can't remember. But it does highlight the times that we're in, and we wanted to kind of touch in on it, like we're coming into a transition, a paradigm shift. And the Most High is expecting his men, the men of the nation of Israel, to stand up, all right, and to be prepared for troubling times and get ready,
Right.
You know what? I'm going to open up with Job. This is in Job real quick. Job chapter 40, absolutely. In 6, it says, Then answered the Lord unto Job out of the whirlwind and said, Gird up thy loins now like a man, and I will demand of thee and declare thou unto me. Okay? So, if we want to stand before the face and glory of the Heavenly Father, we need to gird ourselves up like a man and prepare and get ready, because the Most High is not listening to anybody who's sissified. He's not dealing with sissified men. Effeminate, weak men. No. It's time for us to gird ourselves up in the spirit. We always talk about put on the whole armor of the Heavenly Father. Well, you got to be a man to prepare for war. And to be able to put yourself in this sense of this battle. Right. It's a mindset.
That's it. Real quick, Psalms 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? And so when you stand, that's a affirming action of power that you're willing to fight. And what do they say? You have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Mm-hmm. And so that's what's happening. People are falling for the lies of Esau. But yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
This is the book of 2 Timothy 2, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Yahushua Mashiach. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. So you're seeing a masculine mind frame that's being spoken about here. Yeah. Being a soldier, being a faithful man, a man that can endure hardness, right? And that's not, and that's what's like the brothers was going into. In this society, it's effeminate. All right, behavior that's being pushed out there. All right, men not standing upon their own 2 feet, so to speak. Right, or women ruling the household. All these things are being pushed into society. But as we're seeing, it's a complete different narrative that's being spoken about here in the scriptures, and that's what we're walking into. All right, the tabernacles of David being rebuilt as in the days of old. And when you read about David's men, all right, it says they would chafe in their hearts, roughly paraphrasing that, as a bear robbed of her whelps. Right, these were mighty men that had masculine mind frames, man, and these weren't just strong men that could just fight in war. All right, these were men that were serving the Lord. They were going hard for Yahweh Shem Yahushua. When you read about Judas Maccabees, man, if you don't know what a man is, read about our forefathers, man.
Yeah, the key component, their strength wasn't from their muscles. Their strength was from their integrity. Right. Their strength was from their virtue. Right. Their strength was from the responsibility that they held, their duty, their faithfulness. All of these key components of the fruits of the Spirit, they held up. In this society fights back from you being a man of honor. Being an honest man, being someone who's just and accountable in the Lord. When you do those things, you stand up as a man. Right. These are the things to be taught and passed down. Then, it goes down to actual physical strength. But spiritual and mental fortitude is the key components of being a man. And those things are being stripped of men in society in general for control. Right? A man is not allowed to be masculine in his society. It's actually shunned. It's shunned for you to come into that masculine nature, and that's a mindset first, And I was talking to the brothers earlier before we started this lesson. I was listening to Dan Penn, and he was teaching a class, and he was just talking about how men aren't the same anymore. When even when you watch boxing, you go back and watch 80s, 70s, and 80s boxing. The grip, of a 15-round fight. The grit and the blows that they endured and the mindset.
Right.
And you look now, it's different. You know what I mean? It's a different type. You can see the nature has weakened even in just a few decades.
Yeah, you can't even hit the quarterback no more.
Right, yeah. You know, in football, you know, y'all can't even, you know, it's very, very soft. So, you know, but that also goes back to a mindset, and it goes back to a way that's diminished in the earth, and that's been very purposeful. Okay? That's been very purposeful.
Right.
You had something?
No, that's
okay. Well, I want to read this real quick in Matthew, the 12th chapter, Matthew chapter 12, and verse 29 says, "Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, right? And spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house." So the strong men of our nation, the strong men in general around the world are being bound,
right,
held back.
Right.
Why? So Satan can rule, control, dominate. Okay?
Right, not physically. But like you were talking about that spiritual integrity.
Absolutely. Right. All right, so let's open up. I want to let Glenn Beck speak this real quick, and then we'll go from there.
Phrase that I just read. It's from Michael Hoff. He wrote a book long ago called "Those Who Remain." It's a series of books, and in it, he wrote, I think, one of the most profound phrases I've ever heard. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. Where are we in that? We are now at the weakest men I think our country has ever seen. Men have been emasculated. Men are no longer men. You're not allowed to be men. And that's why we're having hard times.
And those hard times are going to do nothing but increase, and it's prophetic. It's prophetic that there's been an emasculation that's literally being pushed across the earth. I'm holding that 2 Ezra 14. That's beautiful. You know, we're going to touch on that. And it's the reason why is because Satan has ruled and has built himself up in this place, and it's degraded everything. We read about Isaiah. When you read Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, it talks about how, and this is a general concept in world history, is when you see empires rise and start to accumulate wealth, and the centerpiece of that empire, wherever the hub is, becomes more and more luxurious and rich and decadent. What happens is, because things are so good, the women begin to rise up in that society and kind of take over. The children become more unruly, and the men of that society actually get put on the back burner. Right? We're not in a perpetual state of war, so there's a softness that kind of happens, and the need of the men, or the understanding that we need men, starts to begin to be diminished. So when you read that in Isaiah the 3rd chapter, you see how the lack of having men in at the helm destroys a nation. Destroys a nation. And so I want to read this here real quick in Revelation, the 18th chapter. In the 7th verse, it says, "How much she have glorified herself." This is talking about Babylon the Great, the whore that rideth upon the beast. Mystery Babylon the Great. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her hard times. Right? For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, I am no widow, and I shall see no sorrow. And this is the mindset that's happened here in America. There's been a mindset of living deliciously, right? And so you look that word deliciously up.
Strong's G 4763, straniao.
Right, straniao. And so that word goes back to deliciously, or right, to be wanton, or to live luxuriously. And because of the accumulation of wealth, the control of the other nations, and the control of pretty much everything, this is a luxurious kind of sentiment has fallen upon this place and the people. And when you hear people talk about America's so great, it's like, yeah, it's because done this and this and this, but we're not going to talk about that. But it's created a weakness, a softness, and now weak men have created hard times, right? Did you have something, bro?
I had that Isaiah, but
19?
I don't know if you want to grab that yet.
No, please pull that.
All right, Con. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, and verse 16. It says,
because hard times is getting ready to come. As war is going to increase, there's more and more divisions that are happening in America and within, even North America and around the world, right? Go ahead.
Isaiah 19 and 16. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and feared because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it.
Right, and so the Most High is going to shake his hand over this place and create evil times, hard times, prophetic times. That's why we're seeing everything increase the way that it is, man. The Most High is creating a transition or a translation of the kingdoms, okay? Right. So hard times is coming, and the nature of man is going to be revealed to be very, very weak.
That's right.
Very weak,
yeah.
Okay?
And that's why in the scriptures, Yahweh said it. He said, he that endures unto the end, the same shall be saved. And that word endure means to be made hard, right? So you have to have a certain mind frame of mental fortitude to be able to endure all these things that are coming to pass. And like the elder was going into, when shit starts hitting the fan, you're already seeing it now. Like just the little pressure of them pushing out the Jamba Juice, as we call it, right? Mm-hmm. You got men folding. Yeah. That was all gun-ho, man. Right. I ain't with this. And as soon as their job gets threatened, it's like, well, now I got to take it. I talked to somebody. He was like, man, I ain't taking that. But if they make it mandatory to go to travel on the plane, well, then I got to do what I got to do. Right. And when you read about our forefathers, their mindset was, I would rather suffer, all right, than give up my morals. I choose rather to suffer, like Moses. He said he chose rather to suffer than enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Mm-hmm. In this time period, men don't choose rather to suffer. They'll rather give up their morals, or give up this and give up that, all right, to be more comfortable. And that's the mindset of a lot of women. They want to just have comfort. Okay, whatever's going to make it most comfortable. That's right. A man, he'll choose rather than suffer than to give up his morals, man.
Yeah. What did Chris Rock say, man? If a man could live in a cardboard box and have a woman, he would do that, right? But because of women, they have to get the luxurious lifestyle and all the comfortability and all the things of that sort. So yeah, that in itself shows you the dynamic of changing a man's focus from being on Yahweh Shem Shah even to women, And so, were you doing on that, brother?
On Isaiah, yeah.
Okay. Can you bring back out that Revelation 18 real quick? I got a precept for that one.
Right. Revelation chapter 18.
Going on to that deliciously.
Right. Revelation chapter 18, verse 7, it says, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, I am no widow, I shall see no sorrow.
Right, Khan. And so living deliciously is off of those philosophies, that doctrine. There's nothing wrong with, a man changing his gender. There's nothing wrong with a man lying with a man. You know what I mean? Those are all of those philosophies that people eat on and digest to where they're being corrupted. Mm-hmm. They're being consumed with the philosophy of Esau. So, but they become delicious to them because they don't have the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua have, which is the reason why we can stand up. We can show masculinity out there hours upon hours, week in and week out, strong, fighting, with virility, which is that quickening spirit, of truth. So I got a quick precept. This is Sirach 13, and this is going into Esau and his wickedness, but I'm just going to get to the point if I can. Mm-hmm. Verse 4, because this is going into those meats. It says, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bare and will not be sorry for it. Going back to that strong man. He's going to make you bare. He's going to strip you from that masculinity. He's going to strip you from your God, your morality. He's going to make you bare. Mm-hmm. All right. It says, and will not be sorry for it. Mm-mm. Why? Because he's our enemy. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these Babylonians don't realize is they have an enemy. But more importantly, as Israelites, we have the true enemy, Esau, the so-called white man. Verse 6, if he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? And this is the point, verse 7. And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice, and at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. When he see thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. Now, when you go into one of the symbolisms of meats, because we talked about living deliciously, going to philosophies, etc., it says, what does meat symbolize? It says, it is for this reason, for example, that we commonly relate the origins of civilized humanity to the beginnings of hunting and or farming. And this is likewise why meat has been a symbol of affluence, strength, and virility. And so going back to what brothers was talking about, when a kingdom at a time has all of the meats because they're not going out hunting for it any longer. Mm-hmm. So now they're starting to live deliciously on it. They become affluent. But what do they give in exchange for that? Is that power of actually going out and hunting and killing. Mm-hmm. That manliness of going out and doing those things. And so what Esau has done, he's made convenience. He's sold convenience in exchange for that masculinity of being able to bind that strong man. So
right. So the nature of man has been diminished in this delicious society. All right. And so now what's happening? The Most High is rising men back up.
Con.
Okay. Now I wanted to get that in 2nd Ezra 14.
You want me to read it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Con. This
so that 13.
Okay, Con. This is 2nd Ezra's chapter 14 and start at 13. Mm-hmm. Okay, Con. It says, gotta scroll down here a little bit. Okay, it says, now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people.
Right, and we always talk about the father, Abba, right? Mm-hmm. You know, the Aleph and the Ba. That word is for father in the Hebrew, with the Aleph meaning the strength and the Ba meaning the Bayath, right? House. The strength of the house, right? The I goes to the ox head, which is the strength, right? And the Ba goes to the house. The man, the father, is the strength of the house. Scripture here says, set thine house in order. And the key component of setting thy house in order is reproving the men and having them stand up in righteousness. And this is the purpose of us going out and calling out and preaching and gathering the hopeful elect, right? This church of men to start to set the house in order with rising up men. Okay?
Verse 13, now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Mm-hmm. Let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature.
Put that weak nature off, man. That concern over worldly matters, and put on the nature of strength and of obedience to the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
Verse 15, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times.
Rise ye up in part, for this is not your rest. All right, this place is polluted.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter.
Hard times. Go ahead.
Right. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age.
Right. So the time through age has created what? Softer, weaker, emasculated men. Mm-hmm. All right. And we're here to put that off. Right. Put on a nature of righteous masculinity. Okay.
Right. So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein.
Boom. Boom. Okay. And so, we know that because of delicious times, hard times are coming and pressing upon this place. So it's gonna be needful that we have the integrity to stand up against it. Right. Perilous times are before us. Okay. Do you have a precept? Anything?
This is 2 Timothy 1 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
It says, for the Most High hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That's right, and that's the spirit that the Lord has put upon us, of power and of a love and of a sound mind, right? And really going into that word, going into sound mind, I'll pull it up real quick, because these are quality traits that we all have to have, and that this wisdom teaches us. In the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter, it talks about the virtues of, the Catholic churches, they call it like the cardinal virtues or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. But it says that it's fortitude. Well, that's one of them. It's fortitude, and that's having a stable mind, right? And that's how men are supposed to carry themselves, with a stable mind, to be able to endure these things. If all hell is breaking out loose, but the man, he's going crazy, he's panicking, and this and that and the third, what do you expect the rest of the household to do?
Bingo.
That man is supposed to be a pillar.
That's right.
Oh, I got that precept when you're ready.
That's right. But that man is a pillar, and that's what the scriptures talk about in the book of Revelation. It says how he'll make his certain men pillars, all right, within the church. The scriptures talk about being steadfast, being unmovable. Right. The scriptures talk about our house being built upon a rock. You see these different analogies that the scriptures use. It's about a man being stable-minded, and that's what we have to have. But it says that word sound mind, sophronismos. It says an admonishing or calling to soundness of mind, to moderation and self-control, moderation. And that had me thinking about when you brothers were speaking on how this society pretty much promotes the satisfaction of the flesh constantly. All right, so it creates a comfortability to where you can at any time, I can go satisfy my flesh, I can go be comfortable.
That's what it's
and
about.
This and that and the third, and then you can get in a weak mind frame. But that's why the scriptures direct us to do what? To do things in moderation, not giving ourselves over unto all these things, so that what? We can maintain that masculinity and that control, man.
That's right. So we got to continue to press forward and build. Now, I want to get this real quick in 2nd Ezra, the 2nd chapter. It says, 2nd Ezra 2, man, and 44 says, so I asked the angel and said, sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, these be they that put off the mortal clothing and put on immortal. Right? Put off that weak nature, put on strength, legacy. All right. Anything legacy minded is going to force you to be into discipline. And that discipline goes back to that word sound mind. Okay. So we put on the immortal clothing and have confessed the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Now are they crowned and receive palms. So you're going to receive that reward. And then said I unto the angel, what young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and he said unto me, it is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Okay, and so those men that they elect, or those ones that are gonna stand up in strength of heart, strength of character, strength of spirit and mind. That is what the Most High is looking for right now. All right.
That's right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness.
There it is.
Before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. Mm-hmm. That's right. It says the righteous man is going to stand in great boldness. Right. I don't know if the brother had quoted it or we might have read it earlier, but it says, who shall stand for me before the workers of iniquity, man? All right. So that's the spirit that we have to have, being willing to stand up for righteousness, man. Going back to those accounts in the Maccabees, man. Those men chose rather to die, all right, than to stain their honor by going against the covenant, man. And those are the type of men with those spirit whom the Lord is looking for. Ultimately, the Lord has to put that spirit upon us. Yeah, right? Like even with the Maccabees' mother, all right, she showed integrity, she showed virtue, man. All right, but what it says that the Lord filled her with courageous spirits. So it was the Lord that put the spirit on her. So even in the face of seeing her children slain before her, that she could be able to endure that and maintain her integrity. So this all has to be of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that we keep our integrity in these times. He's filling us with that masculine mind frame to be able to stand in great boldness before our enemies, man.
You have a point?
Did we bring out the Isaiah 32 yet? Okay, because the brother had talked about being a pillar. I just want to highlight that real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 2. It says, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So that's not going to be a weak man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A weak man is not going to be a hiding place from the wind because he would blow over, right? No, nor a covert from the tempest because it's going to be hot. You know what I'm saying? Thermonuclear destruction. All right, you know what I'm saying? So that mediator for us is Yahweh Shai.
Right.
But even for our women and our family, going back to the house, right, which is why the man is the head of the house. Okay, he is going to be that covert from the tempest, a righteous man. Okay, right. Israelite man, elect man. As rivers of water in a dry place. So not only that, protection, right? But now even nourishment, through what? What is the nourishment? The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Holy Scriptures, right? I got a precept to follow that. It says, in a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Because you don't know where you at. We're in weary land right now. Yeah. We don't know what's going down. Mm-hmm. So as long as Esau is able to chip at that rock, then that rock becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, right?
Well, a great rock is going to cast a shadow. If you're in a hot place, you're looking for that shadow. You're looking for that comfort. And a good man is going to be like that shadow in a place that's hot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I'm sit over there. I'm going to go close to that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that's what a good man represents in a weary land, is a place where you can sit under there and have some type of protection and covering. Right?
Okay.
And before you read your precept to that, I want to highlight Isaiah the 13th chapter.
I thought you got me.
I
thought you got me on the precept.
Isaiah 13:11 says, I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease.
That's right.
And I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, right? Right? So now hard times.
Right.
I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Mm-hmm. Okay? So a man that's in the right spirit, hey, he's going to be hard to find. He's going to be more precious than fine gold. Okay? Right. So strong men, all right, tough men, hard men are going to be very, very, very rare and precious in the hard times to come. Okay? So, hey, we got to get our mindsets right. You had that precept to back up what you had.
Really This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. I thought you was going to get it. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
Yeah.
Okay? So without that, you ain't going to be stable. You're going to be like a woman. You know what I'm saying? Which is unstable. I mean, truth be told, right? But the stability we have is from Yahweh Shai. That's that wisdom. That's that knowledge. The reason why we can stand firm. The reason why those brothers and their mother, they were like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Right. Hey, we'll see you next, in the reincarnation. We'll be back. Right. That's what he said. We'll be back. It's cool. Go ahead.
And even in that, just extrapolating, only imagine what type of man that father had to be that was in that household.
Right.
Right.
For exactly.
Those children to have that. Because it doesn't speak about him, but look at all these sons that he had that died for what they was raised up in, and even to the mother. So you could see the influence of that man within that household without even reading about him.
Which is the reason why Esau is so adamant about trying to destroy the elect and destroy this word, because that's our power source. Mm-hmm. You had talked about that in 2 Timothy, the first chapter. Mm-hmm. We don't have the spirit of fear, but of what?
Of power.
Of power. What is our power? Yahweh Shai. So Esau's he's got to go for the jugular in that sense, but he can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So to close this out, Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation.
That's right.
The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So going back to that man, and the reason why he'll be a hiding place from the wind and all of those other things is because we have fear of Yahweh Shai.
That's right. I have one real quick. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 14. It says, the great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Mm-hmm. So the men, even in this society, are the few men that still try and uphold a certain masculine frame. Like you got the red pill community and so on and so forth. So you already see a rebellion towards the feminization of men out here. But even those men, right? Those men are going to fold in that day. Why? Because what the brother read, it says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. Right? See, us having this wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that's what's going to allow us to be stable. It says in the gospel, Yahushua gave the parable. He said, I will liken this man that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them unto a man that built his house upon a rock. So, man, that's actually applying that wisdom and knowledge and understanding. He's that Isaiah 13. All right, that man that shall be as fine gold. That's how you know those scriptures like Isaiah 32 is talking about a man of the Lord.
Right.
All right, because he's going to be the one that's stable. If he's actually hearing these sayings and applying them, man.
Yep.
Those are the true men.
Yep. So in a sense, you give praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua for these hard times because it's a proving ground to become a hard man faster. What better way to, when Goku and everything like that, they wanted to level up, what do? They put themselves in a harder situation so that they can more quickly reach the level, the hyperbaric time chamber, right? Yeah. So we've been put in the most wicked captivity in the history of the earth. So it's been kind of a hyperbaric time chamber of us rekindling righteousness within us. Okay?
And that's why in the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, I believe it's the 4th chapter, it says that Enoch, he was made perfect in a short time. All right? So the same thing with us. We're being perfected in a short amount of time through the trials and tribulations that we're going through, man. And I was thinking about, as you were speaking, it's the same thing on a scale of like fasting. All right? When you fast, you're choosing to afflict yourself to get that spiritual growth quick. It's like putting yourself in the hyperbolic time chamber in that aspect. You focus more, you're locked in, all right, you're putting away everything to the flesh, right? To consume the spirit, to grow in the spirit, and it quickens it. So it shows you, just as an example, those hard times or affliction, all right, not giving ourselves over to appetites and so on and so forth, like the scripture says in the book of Sirach, it crowns our life, right? It puts us in a rulership mentality, it gets us closer to Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Okay. Well, that was a point I wanted to make. Did you have any closing statements? Hey, man, so we know these hard times are coming just because the nature of men has diminished. And so there's a transition happening, man. So, Lord willing, that was edifying for you, Hakim, out there listening, man. Call halal.
Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Rakakwadash.
Double honors once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you, Hakim, out there pushing the words of sincerity and true. Shalom.
Shalom.